Hey guys, it's Peter Cunha from Open Doors Realty here for my weekly call with David Baum at Cross Country Mortgage. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, Peter. How you doing, bud?
I'm all right. I thought this one was important. You and I have been talking about it here in central Jersey, let's say a Jersey Shore-ish area. We got a really hot competitive market right now. Like a lot of places in the country, we just don't have a lot of inventory.
Right.
I think it's really important for people to understand that the importance of being pre-approved
Sure.
versus pre-qualified. A lot of people think that they're the same and they're not. And I just wanted you kind of dig in there and we can get into, if people continue watching, what we're doing that's a little bit differently to get some offers approved for our buyers in extremely competitive situations. So just to start, what is a pre-approval and what is a pre-qualification?
All right. The main difference between a pre-qualification and pre-approval is that a pre-approval is me verifying information versus a verbal. So a pre-qualification, real quick, is just you and I having a quick conversation at the bar, and you telling me what your income is, what you think your credit is, what you think you might have in the bank, and yeah, it sounds like you might be pre-qualified. That's about it. It's garbage. A seller is not going to take any merit to that, especially in this market. And if they do, you know, so be it, and they'll probably have a dead deal. A pre-approval is something that I do at a minimum for all of my files. A pre-qualification is not worth anyone's time right now. The very important factors that the difference on a pre-approval is that credit score has been run. So we verified credit. We verified income with pay stubs, tax returns, W-2s, depending if they're self-employed or W-2 borrowers. Assets, we reviewed assets for the most recent 60 days to show they've got enough for their down payment, closing costs, and reserves. And I've run AUS, which is automated underwriting system. So I've run DU or LP, which is running Fannie Mae underwriting guidelines or Freddie Mac underwriting guidelines. Those four things I always put on my pre-approval letter, and that differentiate myself, and the clients compared to others where they're not written in there. And I also put in whether or not the property is going, if it's the offer is contingent or not contingent on selling any real estate or anything of that nature. It is fully verifying all pertinent information on that pre-approval letter, as well as I am going to take the liberty to call, as you know, when you're submitting an offer with clients, I'm going to call that listing agent. I'm going to revalidate and re-verify. I cannot give any personal information about the clients, but I absolutely can validate my pre-approval letter and give a buyer recommendation on the strength of the file and the quality of the borrowers, to try to move the needle and maybe help that client win the bid.
And one of the things that I appreciate is like, I learned early on in this business that, an LPDU, right? And when you throw that at a seller, they're like, what does that even mean, right? And it's the reality is like you've already done your due diligence. Typically when you've already run that process, we always talk about closings take about 45 days. You can usually push through a deal like in 30 days if all the paperwork
Less.
is in. Less, right? But I'm just saying conservatively, that's what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love is we've had some success this year, in very competitive situations. And it's as much as just, sending a phone call or making a phone call on behalf of the buyer, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
now we're attacking it at all angles, right? We're not leaving anything up to the seller's imagination of what could be an issue. Because we've said, hey, listen, we've done our due diligence. This is a really good buyer. He's qualified, very interested in your house. What's important to you? From my angle, it's typically are they looking for a seamless kind of transaction, where we're not gonna be sticklers on the home inspection?
Mm.
When ideally does the seller want to close? And then you're coming at it from, hey, listen, this buyer's qualified, and that's what I appreciate about the whole process because it's competitive right now. We've had deals where we're 60, 80,000 over ask and not getting the house. And,
Mhm.
there's no comps to justify it. So what's making our offer different? So
Right, obviously knowing, the entire picture of the borrower, right, is super important. It allows you to, while you're trying to submit the best offer, you at least have an idea of where everything is. So as you're trying to potentially put in some, nuances of trying to differentiate your offer versus 10 other ones, you also need to have a lender that you can trust that, you know, understands everything. You're aware of the situation. A lot of times, people, even on a pre approval, sometimes people will not even run AUS, DU, or LP, and they think that the ratios line up. And if they don't run that and then they take the deal and they put it in, and it ends up getting approved ineligible or not being or caution, those are going to be problems. And I know not everybody runs those underwriting systems. So it is super, super important to make sure because I just ran something for someone. I was able to make it work, but it was not scoring. And I had to try and find a way, obviously, based on, with 20%, 25%, 30%, still it was not scoring. And, it had to obviously, go FHA for a couple different factors and it did score, but by really trying to dissect everything, making sure you're understanding whether it's conventional or FHA or whatever program the client's trying to do, you need to know with certain, and the only way to do that is to have all the facts up front, paperwork fully verified. So, the clients understand everything. The realtors can do their job better, obviously, by having all the facts and for myself too. Everyone's time is money, and a borrower doesn't want to get schlepped along thinking that they're going to be getting something, and then in fact finds out that they can't qualify. So if someone asks why do you need all this stuff up front, that's why, because they need to be consulted properly. They need to be in a position to, if they're ready to make an offer, they need everything fully validated, because if not, there's a good chance they're not going to get the house or they're going to have an issue down the road.
yeah, and I look at it, it's like when people hire me to, or ask me to find them a house, right? I always say it requires a village, right? It's a team, it's a network of people. And it's funny, we closed a deal recently and then the guy wanted to do some home improvements, right? Up,
Mhm.
wood floors in the bedrooms, and it's like literally I had three contractors there the same day. He hired two of the three. I decided to pass on the kitchens, the bathrooms, and I was like, all right, like as long as it works out for you, I don't care, right? It's just we're
Of
trying to make this process as easy as possible for everybody involved. So I
course.
appreciate you going the extra mile. Every time, even when we do when I go on a listing appointment, like typically people think of their mortgage rep as somebody that's helping buyers. You're helping me on the sell side because, hey, listen, I'm going on a listing appointment. We just talked about this now, and it's X town, at this price point is what I'm estimating. Do you have, do you have buyers that you recently pre-approved? I don't care if they're working with a realtor. I'm just representing the seller at that point. So
Mhm.
uh, again, what you do for my business is extremely helpful, especially with buyers. I know that in this tight market, we have even talked about some under appraisals that we've run into. Rather than killing the deal, we kind of go that extra mile, trying to find comps, which feels like it takes you know 2 or 3 days sometimes, just kind of putting together what is it, a
Reconsideration.
reconsideration of value, just to because again, it's tough right now. People aren't keeping up with the market, and at least the best that we can do is at least cross our T's and dot our I's where we can. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Dave, Listen, how can people get in touch with you, learn more about this LPDU type stuff, so they can get pre-approved?
Pre-approval, yeah, anyone, love to help out. 732-853-4969, the best number to reach me, or email david.baum@ccm.com. And I'd be happy to help with any consultation, pre-approval, transaction, anything. Obviously, here to help, buyers, sellers, obviously, even if they're gonna stay, look to maybe, refinance or utilize the equity out of their home. I'd love to have an opportunity, to help anybody out.
All right, appreciate you, Dave. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel below. Thanks, guys.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Take care.